Right, ninja or shinobi and Yamabushi. So we always get this idea that the ninja were trained by the Yamabushi, and there seems to be this idea that the Yamabushi were first and then the shinobi came later and studied from the Yamabushi. Now, this has led to the misunderstanding that, then Yamabushi must actually be good at infiltrating or be good at mystical things and all that. Right, we have to get rid of, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to the basic facts of everything. Right, the only real connection between shinobi and Yamabushi, really, from within the historical records, please do point out if I've missed any. But on the whole, it only talks about how to, as a shinobi, you can disguise yourself as a Yamabushi and you can travel out, or that you can use Yamabushi as shinobi. So this is where we've got to be careful here. So shinobi themselves have been brought up as shinobi, their training is shinobi, their job is shinobi, which means they do a mixture of infiltrating in the night time, or they infiltrate in open disguises, which is called yonin in the Bansen Shukai and Iga traditions. Is basically the idea that you can, as a shinobi, your base identity is a shinobi, you can actually dress and learn the ways of the Yamabushi, do all the hand signals, do all the esoteric Buddhism, and go out into the community. Now, have you noticed that even though most ninja scrolls are from the Edo period, it's mainly in the Edo period you say you can become a Yamabushi because it allows you to move around. Everybody expects Yamabushi wandering monks, those who lay in the mountains, we'll talk about that in a minute, to wander around and chat to people or go and do whatever they're going to do and do their services. And they basically pay them for services so you can get inside of houses. So the point here is not that the Yamabushi have some sort of magical infiltration method that the ninja adopted. No, it's simply the fact that the shinobi know they've got to go into enemy territory, and there's restrictions. In Japan, there are restrictions on movement. But if you are a practicing Yamabushi and you've actually got certification from where you are or passes and things like that, you're pretty much allowed to travel around and do what you need to do. So therefore, as shinobi of their core identity, learning the ways of the Yamabushi is excellent for spying, but also, so today's video is done to support that. Please get a copy of this. It's the Book of Samurai, Samurai Arms, Armor and Tactics of Warfare, Natori Ryu. Now, big book. Now, this tells us that actually you can train Yamabushi up to be shinobi. That doesn't mean the Yamabushi go creeping in. It means if you need to get a spy into the enemy territory, you can use already trained, fully established, fully legitimate Yamabushi. So here, according to historical documentation, according to the history books, according to primary evidence, you only have two things. You have the Yamabushi who are brought up as Yamabushi, trained as Yamabushi, their identity is Yamabushi. They're approached by the military government and they say, would you like to spy for us? We'll pay you so much to spy for us when you go out. And off they go. Or you get a shinobi whose identity is a shinobi who says, I need to be able to walk around in enemy territory without anybody asking why I'm there. Okay, I will go to a Yamabushi and I will get them to instruct me in the ways of the Yamabushi and I will then go out and do it. Okay, so they're the only two ways. People jump to, they go ninja, and I'm using ninja specifically here because it's the modern, the idea of the black mask and everything, and shuriken. Yamabushi. Ninja are connected to Yamabushi. Therefore, Yamabushi are assassin-like infiltrator, weapons specialist. That's just a total leap of your modern imagination from ninja to Yamabushi. Now, there's also something else about Yamabushi that a lot of people miss is when people think of Yamabushi, they think, Bushi is a samurai and Yama is mountain, so it must be mountain samurai. Now, I know most of you out there know this is not true, but just for those who don't know, the actual Yamabushi is like those who live in the mountains, so it's mountain dwellers, if you like. Those who lay down in the mountain, those who sleep in the mountains, those who are in the mountains. So it's nothing to do with Bushi, the symbol for warrior, basically. There's nothing to do with that. So be careful you don't consider them as mountain warriors. I've seen people call themselves mountain warriors, I think, off the back of Yamabushi. And I've seen people think of Yamabushi as warriors in the mountains. Now, of course, every man, Tom, Dick and Harry, has to learn how to fight people off, especially if you live in the mountains. You've got beasts, bears, bandits. So Yamabushi will carry weapons, or can carry weapons. They evolved into having a uniform, which I think is a little bit strange, because the point is this is the issue that nobody remembers about Yamabushi, is Yamabushi break away from society, break off, and enter the mountains to break away from human constraints and live as close to nature as possible, to gain supernatural powers or more powers, or to push their minds closer in a Buddhist realm. But then they all get uniforms, organizations, and I actually went to Japan and I went to visit some Yamabushi. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to visit Yamabushi. They're going to cast spells on me and I'm going to be a magic demon amazingness. You know, the usual. I'm going to be there. It's when I first got to Japan and I thought ninjas were ninjas. And I got there and I just saw a guy with a fag and an iPod, because it was iPods back then. And he just has this fag and he puts his little hat on and off he went. It was a Yamabushi. I was just like, eh? Why do you have an iPod? Why have you got a cigarette? You know, this is what they did. It was weekend stuff. So a lot of these guys you see are actually working in the office on such a day. Then up they go to the mountains. And there's a lot of segregation between males and females and all that. And the women can't go higher on a mountain. It all got very, very... Considering they were trying to get away from social norms and social restrictions, they ended up covering themselves in social restrictions. And even at the time of the shinobi, you know, in the 1600s, they still have this idea. So this idea of Enja Goya, which is the old guy who invented Yamabushi, they say, or is one of the primarchs of it, as you like, he as well, there's no connection between him and ninja. Now, if anybody else has more information about a solid connection, please do tell me. We've not angled all connections, but as far as everybody in the world is concerned, the reason you think there is a connection between Yamabushi and the shinobi is because it appears in the Shoninki. The Shoninki says one of the 7 disguises of the shinobi is a Yamabushi. So therefore, it was in every ninja book ever for the last 100 years, and then it came over to the West, and it was like, oh, ninjas and Yamabushi connected. It all stems down to the Shoninki having them in, and there are a couple of other scrolls as well which do have it in. So there you go, guys. That is hopefully the answer for Yamabushi. The only possible vague connection, and which is not real, is Yoshitsune Minamoto no Yoshitsune is said to have been taught by Tengu, who are those in the mountains, have a connection with Yamabushi. Yoshitsune is meant to have been connected to Yoshimori, who did the 100 ninja poems. It's a total stretch. There is for the first start, nobody believes those poems are actually written by Yoshimori. It's too far away. They're too long in it's not impossible, but it's a little bit of a stretch, and there's no direct connection between Tengu and Yamabushi and the shinobi in there anyway. So it's a little bit of a folklore legend. There you go, guys. Enjoy.